Good, not good morning. It's good afternoon.
Good day,
How are
good
you?
day. I'm good.
How's everything coming on with you?
Everything is great. It's nice for it not to be 100 degrees outside, so I'll take that as a win.
So true. Strangely, I was in Toledo this weekend and it was 70 degrees, sometimes even 60. And that was cold for us. We're
Yes.
like, we want to go back home to 80, 85s, right?
I would take 75, 80 every day would be wonderful. So yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So I knew you were on the beach and everything was good, right? You had a great time,
Yes, very
good vacation.
relaxing. I was there by myself, so it was a nice kind of reset and focus time for me, and it was beautiful. Beautiful.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So here we are today.
Yes.
We thought about this, just the genesis of this. I met Liz through, we were connected. They were having a panel. We were on the panel talking to I think, boys and girls
Hmm.
in foster care who have grown out of foster care. And thereafter, I think you reached out. We had a couple conversations, and out of this conversation, we said, "Hey, let's do this." So, what I want to do now is just introduce yourself, Liz, and I'll introduce myself thereafter. We go into our why, and then we jump into this thing that we said we would do. So you have the floor.
Great. So my name is Liz Rossilli, and I work now for a company called Genuity Concepts. So I do sales and marketing for mid-size and small companies who want to get more exposure if they have an event or whatever items they need to brand and market their business. So I have switched many companies. I've done many different types of jobs, but they all revolve around sales. So even if I start a job that is not in sales, I tend to somehow end up in sales at that company also. So if I'm
Wow.
supposed to only be focusing on marketing, it just naturally I have to, and I believe in the company, I have to start selling. So that's kind of how it's worked for me. And I've been in sales for over 25 years, and it's my passion.
Wow. Wow. So every time you get in, if it's marketing or something else,
Mhm.
is
I had one job when my daughter was very little, and I was supposed to be doing data entry for a meeting planning company. And I started in data plan and just and then I ended up selling to pharmaceutical companies, going in and selling the promotion, the meeting planning company.
correct. So from data entry,
Yeah.
you go in and you jump into to sales.
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
that's a so basically what I'm hearing here is it's simply whatever's driving you, whatever is your what's in you has to come out.
Well, if you believe in it, if I believe in what I'm working on, your passion just comes through, and then I'm like, okay, everyone needs to know about this. Everyone needs to know about this company, so I need to, no one is doing it well enough. I have to go out and sell this myself. So.
So regardless, I mean, we're starting this already. So this is part of selling success. It's regardless of your position, data entry or a janitor. I'm gonna go down to that. You can create a path. You can create a path for yourself. I will come back to that because I know there are a couple of nuggets in there that I feel and know that people need to hear. My background, I'll do my introduction now. I've engineering almost my entire working life, so roughly 16 plus years of computer science systems and computer science. I left EMC, always in RTP, left EMC, got the MBA in management, uh, branding, and I'm going blank, service management, right? And left and just started to read the Bible and pray for 3 years. And then I opened the Joseph Solomon Management Consultancy, where we work with entrepreneurs to root cause their issues, work with businesses just to streamline, put systems and processes in place. So as we are doing this, you see that Liz has a core competence of sales. I have that core competence of, there are a couple things, systems and processes, but it involved mindset, changing my mindset to really switch from Liz from engineering to this, which was very hard. But that's what we're doing. That's what lemons make lemonade, right? So why this show, Liz? Why selling success?
Because you told me we had to do it. So
True, true, but okay, let me tell you why I told you we had to do it. During our calls,
mhm.
I saw you love to help people. Maybe your niche is women, not maybe, your niche is women. You you had this expertise and you weren't letting the world, I mean, not letting, you weren't letting the world know, but only a few people knew about it, right? In your circle. So from our talks, we said, you know what? We can set up a platform where we can come and talk about this. So yes, that's the backstory. So what's moving you to for us to do this?
Well, I think when you're in sales, a lot of times, I mean, especially as an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, someone who works not in an office with a lot of people, you're alone. And so sales can be extremely lonely when you're trying to pick up the phone and you're trying to make those calls and you feel like no one knows what you're going through. And just having the bravery to pick up the phone and make that first call of the day. But I think that when I started in sales, I really didn't have I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a lot of people to look at to say, this is how it should be done. So I had
Mm,
to create my own path and pave that road. And if I can help a few people to get over some of those roadblocks that they have, and just to realize that, no one's saying sales is easy, but there is nothing that I go through that is like that exhilaration of even just having someone on the other end of the phone pick up the phone, answering the phone and not getting a voicemail. You get so excited. I sometimes I forget what I'm supposed to be saying because I'm not expecting a real person
correct.
on
Okay,
the,
okay.
on the phone. So I think just if I can help some of the people out there and just tell them my stories and motivate them or inspire them to get past some of these challenges. I think in today's world, social media, people feel like they can just, if they are good at social media and their posts are good, like the sales are just going to come in, but that's a very passive way to do your business. And I think you have to take a more aggressive path
Mm,
to be if you really want to be successful. You can't just sit back and wait for them to come to you. You have to go after it.
correct, correct. So one thing I heard was passion to go after it. The third on our list is defining what success is, right? Because success for you is maybe different for me,
Hmm.
right? It's highly subjective. So if we go on and define, what's your definition of success?
I mean, I think success for me is I'm not money driven. I'm not by the dollars. So a win is success. So depending on how big or how small, that's success for me. So I used to not even want to make sales goals for myself because I said, I'm just going to sell as much as I can, but
Mm,
over the last couple of years, I have set sales goals, which have helped me to strive and say, oh, if I just get this little more, I'm going to beat last month, and I can be competitive with myself. But success is just anytime I can be creative to get the win, anytime I can feel like I had a good conversation on the phone. You know,
Mm,
the South is interesting because people can say no, but you get off the phone, you feel pretty good about it if they were nice enough. Up north, they pretty much just slam the phone down on you. So yeah. So if I have that good conversation and I pull out a couple things that I think I did well, to me,
uh-huh.
that's success too.
Gotcha, gotcha. So your success is so that I'm hearing minute pieces that mix the whole. So even though you got to know the minute details in there is, hey, I learned something, they heard me, they picked up the phone, etc. That's a nice way to look at success, because if you look at your entire call was a failure, your entire this and this is one thing that I think is, well, we'll go into this maybe today, later on, in the next 2 weeks. But I think if we can define success prior to engage in life, to engage in our businesses, because success, you, your nose. I had a gentleman, Hiram Stratton. He's with Sandler Training. He said, put some coins, put some pennies in your pocket, and every time you get a no, switch it. One of those pennies will turn to a quarter one day from in
Mhm.
his hand, right? Your so-called failures, for what people may define failures as, no, boom, drop the phone. What you got from there was you learned how, one, to get thick skin. uh, two is you learned that there were certain things that you said in the call that, this will work. I will add this to my repertoire every single time I get to this fork where someone would say X and I would say this, right? So that's not failure, it's success. So great definition. See, my definition of success is, um, if I can help somebody, right? Just extract greatness out of them. I know that's what I was put on earth for. To just, if I sit and talk with you for a while, afterwards we chat, I'm looking to see, how can I help you? 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 And boom, it happens, right? So success is minute details, wins, how I can help. And for those of you who are listening in, tell us what your success is. Tell us, because it helps us define and know who we're engaging with. Now let's jump in.
I'm nervous now. I'm nervous.
What are you nervous about? Don't
What
be
what
nervous.
you're gonna say next? Yeah, go ahead.
This is you. This is you. This is us, right? And please, one, cut me off when you have something to say, something hits you. This is organic, as we said prior to getting on here. We can make mistakes. It's okay, because success is not mistakes. It's what we're learning and how we're going, right? We just defined it. But you said something earlier about your passion. What There are people here who aren't passionate about sales, but they have to do sales.
Mhm.
How how can I become passionate about something I'm afraid of?
I mean, I think if you believe, you do have to either believe in what you're doing and selling, or you have to do enough research or learn enough about it so you can see what the benefits are. You need to know the benefits so that you can then present those and be able to tell people why is it they need this service or they need this product. And I mean, I did pharmaceutical sales, and sometimes there's products out there that might be better in some ways, but they teach you what to know, what are your benefits, what are the benefits
Mm,
that you can then present, why people should. Maybe it's price driven, it's easier to obtain, maybe it's local, whatever it is. You have to find out what are those things that you're going to be your selling tools that differentiate you from
that's
the competition.
That's the word that I heard you say before you said it. You have to know your differentiators. So I'm not going to get up today and be successful. Let me be careful saying this. I will be successful because I'm learning, but success meaning I'm going to get that sale. I can't go out today if I don't understand the product. So the fundamental thing in selling is, one, have a viable and valuable product, something that gives value to a customer.
Mhm.
Next one is understanding the ins and outs, but not really from what you told me just now. It's not every single thing about the product. It's the main components. And then you can become a guru of the product to go deeper, but the main components, and then you go out and deliver. What were some of your, I know you told me about your dad,
Mhm.
right? And the polish.
Mhm.
What was the process in that garage in terms of getting to know this product? And what, I don't want to know the success, I want to know perceived failures at the time when you went out, when there was an instance where somebody said, can this do brass? Can this do steel? Can this do chrome? I got chrome tires, blah. Give us an idea. Tell us a story.
So my dad was an entrepreneur for my whole life.
Mm,
He had invented everything from a tire repair kit before there were tubeless tires, uh, to he had a antique lighting store where he would restore antique lighting when I was growing up on Cape Cod. And then it happened just like you hear the stories of entrepreneurs, where
uh-huh.
he said, there's got to be a better way. I mean, brass, anyone who's been to the beach, brass lamps at the beach are not a good combination because the
Mm,
salt air tarnishes brass very quickly. So I used to spend my summers polishing all the brass lamps, and we would have one product for like the main part of the lamp, different, if there was a lot, if it was really bad, we'd have this more expensive paste. And so he just said, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better product. They all smelled. You had to open the windows. It stunk. He said,
mm,
I don't think it, I think it can, there, this can be improved. So he spent 7 years going to the Boston libraries every Monday when he was closed. When the shop was closed, he'd go to the Boston Library and he would study other patents of products, of other polishes, and see what they put in their polishes. And so after 7 years of researching, he started to formulate his own polish. And when my brother graduated from college, he said, okay, come on, we're going to start doing, the blind testing, and they would polish two things. And until their product came and won every blind test of being the better product. I mean, and this product now smelled better. It smelled like vanilla. It wasn't abrasive. It could be used on fine silver. It could be used on brass and copper. And until it won
mm.
every time, my brother would say, okay, I think it's done. I think it's good enough. And my dad would say, always tweaking it, always, he said, I think we can make it a little better.
Mhm.
And then when they finally got the product, they made one batch of it with no capital, no money, just made one batch of it and took it. They didn't want to sell it on the Cape because it was too
Okay.
close to home. They went to Boston and they put labels on the cans, and they went and they walked into a probably maybe a marina or a hardware store, whatever type of business first, and they kind of pitched it and demonstrated it until they got their first sale, and when they got that first sale, it was like someone believed in it, and someone said, okay, I'll take it. So they started making it enough to go out and sell again, and they had to wait until they sold what they had to have the money to make more. And my brother used to make it in the garage. My dad made a whole machine to run the polish through, and that's how the product started.
So, okay. I'm 7 years of research.
7 years it took him. And we thought,
7 years.
he was crazy. You know, we're like, what are you doing in the basement and testing chemicals? And we thought he was
And he
crazy.
wasn't a chemist.
No chemistry background at all. No.
So not a chemist,
Mhm.
7 years. So if I do, correct me if I'm wrong, that's 52 Mondays. 52 Mondays. So 50 times 7 is 350. 4 times 2 times 7 is 14. So it's 250. No, did I 350 plus what was my last 7 times 2, 14. What 350, 367, 364 days, and multiply that by hours, right? How many hours he was in there,
Mhm.
and it was successful.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was successful.
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
he knew that that this there was a need for this, and he felt it. He knew it, and so he just was driven.
I I think today would be the fundamentals of selling, which means when I say fundamentals of selling is what what you have to do in order to have a successful sale.
Hmm.
It's hours and hours of research. It's hours of putting time in. It's hours of understanding your product. It's testing your product.
Hmm.
Now, what was your dad's background? If
He just, I think he was just, I want to say scrappy. He just, always, he didn't have, he was an orphan. He didn't have any role models. He was a waiter, and then he, started his own businesses from at a very
Mm.
young age. So he just had that. And so all those years of doing that led him to this point where he could be a mentor for us and use his experiences to help us.
Do you think our I'm gonna jump off. Do you think our background causes us to sit and eat Sundays versus getting out and running and doing it? Do you think that affects that plays a role in how
Well,
we see life?
yeah, because I think some of it is if you're too content, right? If you're too just like everything is fine, I don't need to, work too hard, it's just going to come easy to
Mm.
me. But I think because of my background and the way that I was raised and how I saw it and how I had to work at it, it's set those foundations for me now, and it's taken some of that fear away, and it's just made me realize that I have to get out there and just, I just have to, like I said, pound the pavement if you have to.
Correct. Pound the pavement. And something else hit me. It's not even a matter of background in terms of if you have money or not, because there are there are multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires whose kids have the drive also. So
Hmm.
it's not about if I'm poor, if I'm rich. I think it's mindset. It's
Hmm.
seeing it and saying, you know what, I am going to do it regardless, and I'm not going to take no as an answer. And you have to be slightly maniacal, because what I'm hearing in your dad is if it fixes, if it's doing the work, nah, we can still tweak it. We can still tweak it. And he knew the exact time, the exact he knew it. He knew it in his gut, what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to smell, how long, how many rubs it takes, because he had researched it.
Yeah.
So
But I think also you have to realize that it took, once he started it, it took, about 4 years for it. Once we launched it, or once we started making the product, I came in 2 years later to run the office. And then, 2 years after that is kind of when we started getting some momentum. But, there's a lot of changes that go on in that time period too. So it's not like the packaging was perfect,
correct.
he would take the feedback, the can of polish. There they're cloths that are already, the polish is already on the cloth. But they were, it was about $15 when we started for that can of polish. And he got feedback that, you know what, this is, people aren't going to spend $15 for a product they don't know how it works. So
Mhm.
then he made foil pouches that had 2 cloths for under $5. And so those were like the introductory size. And so that was taking the feedback, instead of saying, no, no, you don't know what you're talking about, you know, this is the way it is. It was like, okay, you know. And I just remember always, like, someone would say, oh, this would work great, like I said, on a boat, or oh, this is great on motorcycles. And all of a sudden we had to start going after every you know, we had to go to Harley Davidson. But that was pre-internet, so you couldn't just go online or send an email. You had to physically either go there or send them a letter, or so. But we would constantly be pivoting and trying.
Correct.
Oh, you know, gift shops, they'll sell this at a gift shop. Wherever it was, we would, you try it, and then you find out that maybe marinas aren't the place to be, or
Mhm.
whatever. We would constantly adjusting, making those adjustments.
So we're taking something that happened years ago, because most people think and perceive that business, you know, in 2020, there are new concepts that have come up, and I beg to differ, because that concept of pivoting, the concept of market research,
Mhm.
getting it through listening and taking in what they're saying, it's what makes your business viable in 2020. You're not going to, there are some people, there are some businesses. Thankfully, I don't know any, but I know they exist, or you may know. They don't take any feedback. They go, this is the best, this is how it's gonna be, I don't care. And that's a business that's
Right.
going to be short-lived.
Well, if you, and I think the problem is some people think that they're the expert, so they know, but you still have to, yes, you can be the expert, but you still have to be, I always feel like I'm always trying to improve on what I do. And that's, you know, so when back in that day, like, I wasn't afraid to, like I said, I'd go to cold call on a hardware store somewhere, and if they said, oh, will this work on, like you were saying, on the rims of my car, I will go out in the parking lot and be on the ground polishing the rims of their car. Like, I don't, you know, I wasn't afraid of that. And I love the challenge. If someone said, you know, that means that they were at least interested in enough to see if I could get the demo, then I got the sale. So whatever they wanted me to demo on, I knew I was that much closer.
Wow. So you're still, so were you an athlete?
No, no. Marching band, color guard,
Hey, that.
dancer. I was a dancer.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's mindset,
yeah.
right? That's mindset. Some people wouldn't want to get on the ground to do that. They would. We always want to let our mouths be the law and order. It works. Show me. I'm telling you, it works. Okay, then buy. Versus it works. Show me. You go in and scrub it and show it. It's more, and I think what that is what referrals and testimonials do in 2020,
Mhm.
where I come and say, Liz does excellent work with swag, with things that she hey, here it is. This is embroidered. I can wash this. I don't know how many times it wouldn't come out. So hit Liz up for it, right? The it's you proven that this product works. I years of research, being an expert of it, doesn't being an expert doesn't give you the ability to shut people off. It makes you even want to suck them in, right? To listen and get feedback.
Mhm.
Um, is that product
Yeah,
still out there?
my father has passed away, but my brother still runs a company up in Massachusetts. So
Is it only polishes for metal now, or has it pivoted
no,
to something?
that's that's the one product he sells. Yeah. So my brother's personality is very different than mine. So um, he he does not like change. You know, he likes things. So he's tried some other, you know, some slight changes to it, but it's working for him. He's international. He's got it down where he has people, they hire mentally challenged individuals to do their
Mm.
packaging at some of these locations, and then he does all the everything else he does out of his office. So
So
but it's an international company.
let's put a plug in here for him. What's the name? What's the name of the
So it's
company?
called Cape Cod Polish because that's where I grew up on Cape Cod, and
Mhm.
it is by far the best silver metal polish out there. Brass, copper, stainless steel. So I used to go into hardware stores and say that I had spent my summers polishing brass lamps, and I've used every product on the market, and by far this works better than anything else.
Wow.
And so with that, because I had that experience already of getting a quarter for every lamp I polished, you know, I knew that I was an expert and I could go in and sell believing in the product I was selling.
So there goes another jump off point. You you knew the product. Again, we talked about that earlier. But what I'm getting also is you knew the product, you had used the product. It's it's me and my business, right? I have to know my business. And I'm pretty sure if someone would ask you what was the faults, what were the issues in there, you were giving your dad information that this doesn't do X, that doesn't do Y. You have to improve that, right? Had to
Mhm.
give him information. It's you now working on whatever your expertise is. And not even your expertise, it's whatever you want to become an expert for. Bill didn't know. He wasn't a chemist. He. But there he goes. He leaves a legacy, and
Mhm.
it's still ongoing. So,
Right.
what are you looking at today that you're accepting, but you just don't like? Right? You're accepting the chair. This chair doesn't feel right. This chair doesn't feel right. I need to change. I've heard if you are experiencing it. I don't know the stats about, there are 8 billion people in the world, but if you're experiencing it, there's a percentage of you out there in the world that's experiencing it. So you fix it and it will come to you to buy,
Right.
right?
Right. But
Wow.
also you said, like, you know, I mean, I didn't think when I was in college that I was going to graduate college and sell silver polish. You know, that wasn't the dream I had. You know, I was going to go to grad school for marketing, actually for marketing and advertising at the time. So,
Mhm.
but it was like, okay, I'll try this for a while. And like any small business, I loved being able to wear many hats. Like I got to set up the entire office. I had to figure out how, you know, I got a computer with no software on it. I had to design the whole thing myself. And when someone called where to get it, there was no program then that you could punch in their zip code and it would pull it up. You know, I had to make, you know, Excel spreadsheets with just with zip codes and towns. And every time we got a new account, I had to reprint all the sheets. And but I like that, being able to do a lot of different things. And when I was ready to go out, and I said to my dad, I want to go, I'm ready, I want to go sell, you know.
Mm,
The first place I went was Chicago with my brother, and we went to the suburbs of Chicago.
mhm.
And and he gave me like he had already been there, but we were trying to open new accounts, and he gave me the worst areas, you know. So, you know, because I got home that
Bad
night, I'm like,
brother.
I didn't get any sales. And I was like, I hate this. I hate this job. I don't want to do this anymore. And
Uh-huh.
he said, I didn't want you to mess up your first, I didn't want you to ruin any good accounts. So I didn't, you know. So the next day he switched, we had index cards with each account, and he switched with me and gave me the good cards. And I
Uh-huh.
think I made 7 or 8 sales that day. And I was like, this is awesome. Like I was, you know, so that
What
just adrenaline is amazing.
it is. What would you tell? I know we we are loosey goosey here. We will come back. We will go forward. We will do. What would you tell someone who they have studied, they have, they've done the homework, they're in the process of creating, um, and now they're at the stage of selling in 2020? What would you tell that person? What are the gotchas? What would you?
I would say that it doesn't have to be perfect. That people keep trying to make, if I just learn one more thing, or if I just listen to one more call, or if I'm going to wait, I have to get this all written out perfectly before I pick up the phone, or before I, post a video or whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to just get it out there so that you can then get feedback and say, you know what, even this LinkedIn post, I got twice as many, views and likes on this post than I did on this one. What did I do differently? And I would just say, you can't just cross your fingers and just say, I hope they come. I hope they buy it. You have to be aggressive, and you have to get out there, and if you want it, you got to get it.
I'm not aggressive, Liz. I am. Can I? I don't know. Can I get somebody else to do it for me?
No one is going to believe it like you believe it, if it's your company and it's what you're selling. So I think it's fine to have assistants, to have people who
Uh-huh.
will do some of your social media posts and things like that, and your bookkeeping. But when it comes to selling, you're selling yourself. You're selling you, and to do that, it has to be coming from you, and from that place in you that you believe.
You believe. That's the bottom line. You believe. And if I don't believe, I think my belief in something makes me want to become a disciple of it,
Mm,
makes me want to evangelize about it.
mm,
It's us doing, I'm looking at this bottle here. Oh man, this bottle keeps cold water. It's a steel bottle, keeps my water cold for 24 hours. And I'm running or talking to someone, oh, this bottle keeps my water cold for 24 hours. Hey, this bottle keeps, and people get to know, and you're making more money for Nathan, the company, than you're making for what you have, versus that. This is bringing me to something else. See how we did this shirt, selling sales, selling success. Um, Wearing, I'm not against Nike, I'm not against Converse, Adidas, or anything. I selling is also, your branding also adds to your sale, right?
mm.
So if I am as a consultant, it behooves me, I can do a shirt that says Joseph Solomon Management Consultancy, da da da, and go about walking, and people will go, oh, what is that? Are there, the question is, are there, for someone who doesn't know, are there, and I'm shy, are there conversation starters out there? Tell me what the conversation starters are.
Well, for being in promotional products, it's perfect because
Oh, why did I come and ask that question?
that's, I mean,
But
I think they say that, people make a decision about, it's that first impression you make, right? So it's how you look, and whatever you sell, I feel like if you have a sloppy appearance or something's
mm,
off, then people are going to automatically, that you're representing your brand, you're representing your company all the time.
correct.
So, but if you have something, a quality product, I always say quality, with your name on it, and you can give it to them when you first start talking to them,
Mm,
then it's going to be a conversation starter. It
mm,
can be something like, oh, here, I just want to give you this. I love this product. I love this pen because of the way it writes, or I like the way it feels, but I wanted you to have one. So I feel like networking is a whole other thing, a
mhm,
whole other conversation. But part of the branding part of it is that remembering when you walk into that room, I think of it like acting. Like, you can walk into that room. Before I walk in, I always think of who do I want to be? What do I want to be
Mm,
representing? And if you go in and you say, oh, I'm so scared to talk to anybody, I'm scared to, what if, and if I don't, if no one will talk to me, then that's, people are going to sense that right away. But if you go in and you say, everyone's going through the same thing, once again, everyone is feeling the
yeah,
same pressure and the same stress, and I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to be awesome, then you'll walk in and people are going to radiate to you and they're going to want to talk to you. But yeah.
there you go again. That's that now. That's not a sales conversation you just had. That's a mindset conversation, right? It's you visioning and finding that space, that safe space that says, you know what? I'm going to be a king. I'm going to be a queen in this. I'm going to slay, as they say. I'm going to slay when I enter this place. And I use that same mindset trick when I'm going to networking events.
Mhm.
First day of school, nobody in here. They have no friends. The lucky ones would have a friend or two,
Right.
but most of us in here, we don't know anybody. So guess what? I'm going to be a friend. So let me go and find friends, right? And that's how I go in thinking first day of school, because most times the next week you're buddies with somebody. You're best friends with somebody, and you have the ability to move whatever your agenda is forward. Um, what are you? These are last words. We said we wouldn't go an hour. We would do 45 minutes with people. Just keep it kind of short. What would you? I mean, this one I think it's just an introduction of it. We will go deeper into cold calls and branding, and we'll just mine our minds, right? But what would you say? I don't want to say last words, but
I would say, I always think of it like, think of what your competition is doing. If you're trying to figure out how to move forward, think about what your competition is doing. And my dad, Bill, used to always say, if everyone, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So
Mm,
I take that to heart and think, okay, what is my competition doing? Are they, you think that, oh, everyone's making their cold calls, or everyone's, going out of their way to drop stuff off at people's offices. But I mean, COVID, it's different now. But
yes.
if you make 5 phone calls today, that, I'm telling you right now, your competition is not doing that. I just think that 95% of people out there are not picking up the phone and calling. They might post on Facebook or LinkedIn and then just hope that people respond to it. But if you pick up the call and have your targeted list, your competition is not doing that.
Mm, mm. I'm gonna targeted list. The question would be, and that's next time,
Mhm.
how in the world do I create a target list? Right? One, two, um, hmm, it's not so easy. Everybody would be doing it if it was easy. And I heard something. I under this, I tell my clients market basket analysis, right? Where you go in and take 3, 4, 5 people who are doing similar things that you're doing,
Mhm.
find out what their pricing is, right? And you you look at your differentiating factors,
Mhm.
decide where you are within that range, right? And then you are comfortable to go to someone and say, the price of this is that, right? Compared to, if I don't have that information, I go out and sell something for $10. And people are so sophisticated in 2020 or these days, where they can sense, they can smell if you're unsure, if you're lying, if you're like you said, so you come in a room and you're selling something and people look at your confidence level and be like, nah, they're not confident. I'm not going to do it. Because I think sales is confidence also, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, my business now is, you can go online. You can order promotional products right online. You don't even need me. So My favorite question is when someone says, why should I buy from you instead of buying it online? I mean, that to me is like, that is like, let me tell you why,
Can you answer that question?
because customer service, I said, if your product is supposed to be there tomorrow by 5 o'clock and you have not gotten tracking yet, who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Who can you call at 9 o'clock at night that's going to actually answer your call? That's me. I'm going to make sure that your product is there on time. Who's going to check to make sure your artwork looks as good as it can on that product? They're just going to print it however you send it, and
Mm,
so I'm going to check it all along the way. I'm your project manager, I'm your customer service, and I'm going to fight for you. So I'm going to go to my suppliers and say, no, 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 we need this by next Friday, so that they don't have that if you just hit add to cart.
correct, correct. Thus, the point with selling success. These nuggets, these call them billisms, these pieces of truths that you know why your product is the best, and be confident in saying this is the best. Liz Rossilli, thank you so much. It's been perfect. Look forward to the next one. I'm not going to say when, but I'm pretty sure if we wake up and we say we want to have one, we'll have one.
Yes. And thank you, Wulwyn, for pushing me out of my comfort zone and making me do this with you. I appreciate you very, very much.
Hey, hey, I appreciate you. So once again, thank you. Tell us what success is in the comments. We'll interact with you. And hopefully when COVID-19 leaves, we'll do a live outside in Cary, somewhere around here, be on location, and people can come and even ask questions. That would be a great thing for us to do. But Liz, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Goodbye.